everybody to our Ayurveda talk. We are continuing on our talk about rejuvenating, and that means we are really thinking about how to form our tissues. And this is a journey after you've done the Ayurveda cleanse that you will continue for weeks and months. And I always say, practice the 20-80 rule. 80% of the time, you really want to stay on track with your dosha appropriate diet. If you don't know what your dosha is, your constitution, dosha is your constitution. If you don't know what it is, you need to make an appointment and figure it out. If you know what your dominant dosha is, your constitution, then you need to be following that appropriate food list. Now, if you've got imbalances, it complicates things. Usually when we do cleanses, it's going to pull out that whatever's causing that imbalance. All right, what are we doing now is we're thinking about the food we eat. The next part that we're getting into is I want to now talk about how you are forming healthy tissues, but then also how food starts to affect our psychology, our mind. And that's not something that we always think about, but very much so, food not only affects us physically, it's affecting us mentally. There was a documentary out a while back where they were talking about kids who had ADD, ADHD, and they completely changed up their diet. I had to do this with my son. He was diagnosed with ADD, and I just completely took sugar out of his diet. It was difficult, you guys, because anytime they had a party, like a birthday party at the school, everybody would bring the Capri Sun super sugary drinks. They would bring cookies and cupcakes and all that stuff. And, the kids all want it, but it was really affecting these kids who were dealing with these more psychological body issues because it's connected. So Ayurveda tradition teaches that food is for nutrition and it nourishes our body, but it also affects the mind. So I'm using a couple of different references here. I've got Dr. Laud's information, Dr. Frawley, and then another reference. And we're looking at how you nourish your body is going to affect the mind. And it's also going to affect your consciousness. So if you want to become more aware and more conscious in your life, then your food selection starts to become important. Our physical constitution, whether you're Vata, Pitta, or Kapha, those are the three doshas, they also contribute to the mental constitution. And those are called the three gunas. We've talked about the gunas a lot. The gunas are sattva, rajas, and tamas. Okay, so the sattva, rajas, and tamas are considered universal qualities, and they are part of creation. So if your food is nourishing the physical body, that's literally creating your physical body. Then it also means that it's creating your mental body as well. If you are sattva is going to be connected to consciousness, purity. So consciousness, and that is a quality that gets reawakened every morning when you wake up. So when you wake up, you bring with you, waking up in the morning is sattva. You're waking up. Rajas is our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings that move in a creative way. So it's action oriented, active, very active energy. Tamas is basically inertia. It's exhaustion, fatigue, heaviness, and it relates to sleep. If you don't get sleep, you can't function. So these three mental energies work together. So you wake up in the morning, sattva. You move throughout the day, you do this and that, rajas. You go to sleep at night because you're tired, tamas. It's natural. The sun comes up, you're following their circadian biology, circadian rhythms. The sun is up, the hormones that get released in the body are completely in alignment with what the sun is doing. The hormones that get released wake you up. Then hopefully the food you eat is sustaining you throughout the day as far as energy. And then hormones get released at night that help you go to sleep. Completely connected to these mental energies. Isn't it fascinating? I love this stuff. Okay. So, another way to look at these three mental energies is to look at sattva as being clear. So, you awaken in the morning. This is why we wake up before 6 a.m., because that is when you're going to be most clear. And Rajas brings perception. So, sattva is clarity. Rajas is perception. It's active. Perception is all based on the beliefs you hold, the filters that you have, past trauma, past experiences, positive, good, all of it is going to impact your perception. Very active. And then you have tamas, which is a concrete, solid experience. Okay, these three qualities also function within our cells. So you're eating this food. How is it impacting you physically? Is it helping you create all the healthy layers? Remember, there is a whole prioritization of the formation of tissues. Formation of tissues takes weeks and months. The reproductive system, especially for men, does not even recreate for 70 days. So that's how long it takes for sperm to be reproduced. 70 days. That's a long time, you guys. So the food you are eating is going to impact you for months. Think about that. Okay, so if we're looking at the cells and how these gunas, these mental qualities, are impacting us at a cellular level, this gets really fascinating. Sattva is our potential energy within the cell. It's literally your vital force. Your vital force is your vitality. So if you have a lot of vitality because you eat well, you live well in alignment with your constitution and dosha, your cells are going to give that to you. So your potential energy is sattva. Your kinetic energy, the actual functioning of the cell, is connected to rajas. And then inertia, when the cell is no longer functioning because everything has its life, is tamas. So potential energy in the cell is awareness, which becomes active due to the kinetic energy of rajas. And then the cell becomes inert. That's that tamasic quality. And your body sloughs it off. That would be like cellular metabolism. And then you have cellular waste. So cellular metabolism is connected to that kinetic energy. And then cellular waste is the tamas part, the inertia. So these qualities are really important to think about because everything you eat is going to make up this physical body, which takes weeks and months. And then it's also impacting you and your mental, emotional body. So if you are suffering, and boy, is there a lot of suffering going on right now. So if you have a lot going on in your mental body, like you're noticing you have depression, or you're noticing you can't sleep. I have a few clients that are dealing with anger issues. That means that those emotional aspects of ourselves, we can help influence them with our food. We can really look at okay, I don't want to be angry anymore. So I'm going to really watch the foods that I'm bringing in that increase heat, because heat will contribute even to those gunas, those psychological energies. Okay, now when we're looking at sattva, rajas, and tamas, they can become active, which makes them like a verb. So then they would be sattvic. When somebody is sattvic, they're pure, they're clear, they're light. When somebody is rajaic, they're very active, 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 active. And so when somebody is tamasic, they have inertia. They're experiencing inertia, maybe depression and all of that. So the mental qualities are going to promote these different states of being. And if you are eating food that is light, highly nourishing, highly what we call pranic, what does that mean? It means that you went out to the garden, you picked your vegetable, and you cooked it up right there and you ate it. That means that you got the vital force from that food right after you picked it. You are going to get high amounts of prana because of it. If you eat food that comes out of a can, there's no pranic quality. It means that the vital force of that food, the longer it sits on a shelf, if it's canned, if it's any of those things, the vital force quality gets pulled out. You get less prana, less vital force from the food you're eating. We have to really consider that in our food. Eat as fresh as we can, local food as much as you can, organic. There's a lot of inertia going on with our food affecting our mental bodies because of all the pesticides that are getting sprayed on our foods. So eat organic as much as possible. I would really say we all need to start having a garden. I planted seeds, you guys. So I am trying to help myself with doing my own food and planting my own flowers. Okay. For now, when you are eating in a sattvic way, you are eating light and you are eating food that's easy to digest. Digestion requires a lot of energy. So that's why when we are doing the Ayurveda cleanse, we do a mono diet. It's very simple diet because we do not want your energies going towards digestion. We want your energies going towards removing toxins out of the body, removing imbalance out of the body. So sattvic foods are going to bring in a light feeling, and you're just going to, like, everything is simple and easy to digest, easy to assimilate. And as a result, you will feel clear. You will have clarity of perception. What comes out of that is love and compassion, and it promotes the qualities of forgiveness and generosity. So your food can really impact how you show up in the world. It's all connected. Okay, sattvic foods what are they? They're going to include fresh food, fruits and vegetables, and milk, by the way, in Ayurveda, and ghee are considered sattvic because they build and bring in vitality. But you have to be careful with how you eat your milk and your ghee. Ayurveda does not encourage anything pasteurized because you're breaking down and removing the enzymes necessary to actually digest and get that benefit out of the ghee and out of the milk. So when I do my own ghee, I make my own ghee at home. I use unsalted, unpasteurized butter as much as I possibly can because now you're really getting the medicinal benefits of that ghee. When you're eating Rajaic foods, Now, what is Rajas going to do? It's going to promote activity. If you already are too busy, you already move too fast, then you want to stay away from Rajaya foods. What are those foods? They're going to be stimulating foods like hot, spicy, salty. They become irritants and stimulants. Caffeine. Caffeine is really messing up people's nervous systems. If you are having a hard time regulating your nervous system, you've got to get caffeine out of your diet. You have to. It will really make a difference for you. These foods, by the way, for a lot of people are very, very addicting. They have a hard time letting them go. But you want to remove the Rajaic foods. You also want to be careful with like chutneys and salsas and hot pickles and a lot of in the Indian food. They will do like spicy mangoes, really delicious, by the way. You got to stay away from all that. And it doesn't just stimulate your body, it stimulates your senses. So you get overactivated. And then that's hard to settle down. So you want to be really careful because these foods will move the mind in a very agitated, irritated way. So if you are showing up in your life feeling agitated, feeling irritated, you got to remove the Rajaic foods. Hot, spicy. They're going to be irritants. They're going to be stimulants. Okay, those foods will lead to us showing up with anger, hatred, manipulation. So if you're around people that are that way, most likely their diet is encouraging that behavior. Okay, tamasic is our last one. Tamasic food is heavy and dull, not a lot of prana quality. No prana quality, maybe. That means the vital energy that you're getting from the food isn't even there. So it will lead to depression, and literally it might cause physical deep sleep, but sleep that is unhealthy, like too much sleep. And what are the foods that fall into the category of this? Well, dark meat is tamasic, meat in general, lamb, pork, beef, and also thick, heavy cheeses, old and stale food, all tamasic. Get them out of your kitchen. Now, tamasic foods can happen in excess, and they can start making you feel dull. So if you're showing up in the world feeling depressed, fatigued, heavy, stuck, you got to look at, am I eating food that is not fresh? And take a look at that. Now, if I'm dealing with somebody that is not stable in their life, then I might want to actually start bringing in food that is a little bit more heavy, does have a little bit more stability to that. And that's if I'm dealing with somebody who's got excess vata, excess pitta, too much hyperactivity, they're not grounded, they have insomnia. Then I want to maybe give them a little bit of tamasic food to ground them and help them sleep soundly. Okay. So as you move into these few weeks and you are regenerating these new tissues, also consider the fact that you are regenerating the mental bodies as well, the gunas. So your physical tissues are building, and so are those mental tissues, right? They're impacting us. They're helping us show up. And if you aren't showing up from a good state of mind, you can help yourself with the foods that you eat. All right, well, that's our talk for tonight. And we will continue on this topic because there's a lot more about the gunas that we can go into detail about, and they are fascinating. So we will talk more about it next week. Thank you guys for being here. Let's get started with our practice.